Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day. It's a bright day. It's a fair day. It's a day of good tidings, favor, and blessing. So excited to have you at the other side this morning. This is Global Morning on Global Television, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and I'm being joined by Jumai Manson. Good morning, Jumai.
Good morning, Ramsey Enoch Agbo. How are you doing this morning? It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and of course, it's great to be here doing this side by side with you. And to our viewer out there, thank you all so much for tuning in and doing this with us on Global Morning. It's great to be here.
Yes, it's really great to be here. But then, for some persons, as they woke up this morning, they were thinking of where the next bread is going to come from.
Sure.
And it's another thing for you to be walking and having something to show for it. And it's another thing to have served for 35 years. Then you go back home, unlike America, where we have senior citizens.
Yes.
And there is nothing senior about you in our own country because of negligence, probably, or greed or corruption of some persons in office. We've had, before now, teachers' protest is times without number.
Oh, yes.
But I think this administration has coped with that to an extent.
Oh, yes.
University lecturers also strike here.
Oh, yes.
Then recently, just yesterday, a segment of the society, all right, that you don't hear so much of protest from, protested, and that is retired pensioners. And of course, I was thinking about it, so many times we'll think, we'll do research, try to balance both sides, and I came to conclusion that it appears as if our retired officers don't get much attention, all right, as they feel it should be. And we had a protest yesterday, especially from the military, who were saying, well, if there is an increment, okay, for people who are in active service, we should also be considered, all right, because when we're in service, we're receiving something that these people were receiving. Now that there is an increment, we should also be considered. And we had that protest yesterday, but so good, so fine. I think there have been a reaction from the Minister of Defense, because yesterday they actually went to the Ministry of Defense and also Ministry of Finance, and you know how it always has been a lot of blockage, but then they were able to air their view, their opinion, their feelings was passed across. So now, I don't know, we're still waiting for what will happen, what will be the outcome. Though they have retired, all right, they can't get exactly what people in service are getting, because they are not in service anymore. And more so that the high level of insecurity is increasing by the day, so these persons need to be taken care of, their family members and all of that, especially those that lost their lives in the process. Because if we're talking about being good to pensioner now, we should also be considering people who lost their lives, right, while in active service.
Yes.
Their families should not be made to feel the absence of those our heroes. I refer to them as heroes.
Yes,
as a matter of fact.
they are.
So I don't know what you think about that.
Well, you know what? For me, for the pensioners coming out, is food for thought for those that are still in service also, because you know what? Once there's an increment in salaries, I think the right move to make is that increment should reflect in individuals, these pensioners also, because if you look at it today, what they received when they were in service is nothing compared to what these individuals who are in service are receiving now. There's a discrepancy. It's a large difference. So these individuals who are retired, like I saw the lieutenant colonel who was in special forces, that's a big deal. Like he served forget where he served, but every other person that was there, these individuals have served the country, they have served Nigeria, they've laid down their lives. Do you know what it is? It takes a toll, a military personnel, not just serving the country, away from your family. Sometimes the wives, they don't see their husbands for months. I will tell you because I know. These individuals they're always on alert. And now when they are out of service, they're supposed to be ready. They don't even need to come out and tell you, we need this, need that. Go to hospitals and see them. Every month they pay for medication. Some of them have high blood pressure. Some of them have diabetes. Some of them are suffering with colon disc, suffering with so much. And the monies that they receive as is not even enough. Some of them, their children are still in school. It takes it. So I think a lot needs to be done in that area. I think it should be looked at. Because those that are in service that are even their lives they put their lives for us, for each and every one of us to have that nice sleep. This is food for thought, that when we are out of service, what will become of them? Because definitely they will be in those shoes someday. So it's better the needful is done now, and I think it doesn't take anything for these individuals. Their pensions should be increased because they are used to the service. It's all they know. Some of them are not working because they don't know how it is to, mingle with civilians and then work under. They're used to giving orders and all of that. So we should try and understand. It has a lot to do with the psychology. So I think we need to understand that giving them the best when it comes to their pension, I don't think they're asking for too much. An increment will go a long way helping them to survive. Of course, look at the economy. You can't compare what they are getting for pension compared to what these individuals. I know they're out of service, but I think that needs to be looked into. These are individuals who have served the nation. Even when there was we didn't hear Boko Haram, but you say, okay, Juma, it's not as worse as it was now, but they served. They served at motherland Nigeria. So I think the needful needs to be done in that area, please.
All right, everyone. The needful needs to be done. I'm excited. Reason being that we have a government that listens. All right. So
yes, we do.
We know that very soon we'll hear a good news. Thank you very much, Minister of Defense.
Yes, very empathetic.
And of course, it's good. Let's see what's going to happen after now. We'll bring you more details as it has to do with that protest, which is an unusual one. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yes, it is.
So it needs urgent attention so that those in service, like my colleagues said, will not be feeling like, why am I laying down my life? Why am I doing this? Why am I being sincere? Why am I this and that?
Because after the whole thing
was
exactly,
and start being non-patriotic. Well, and that wouldn't happen, I believe, in our military. Now,
of course.
We'll break. After this break, we'll bring you taste and texture, probably to give you an insight or inspire you on what to have for breakfast.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG. At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1.
Hello guys, this is to specially welcome you to this episode of Taste and Texture, and I assure you it will be as engaging as it will be eye-opening. On the show, we're going to prepare a tasty delicacy, and we will be preparing it from scratch. In today's episode of the program, we'll be preparing French toast, which is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. Also, this breakfast French toast can be made very quickly by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: sliced bread, eggs, milk, salt, cinnamon, vanilla extract. Step 1. Break 2 eggs into a bowl and add a half cup of milk. Add a pinch of salt and a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Add a tablespoon of vanilla extract to add flavor and mix all together. Step 2. Get your sliced bread and dip it into the batter on both sides. Step 3. Lightly butter your pan and heat up. Step 4. Arrange the coated bread in the pan and fry it till golden brown. Turn to the other side to cook also. Serve your French toast with fresh berries and powdered sugar, or you can just enjoy it with syrup. There you have it, your breakfast French toast is ready. Enjoy! That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try this recipe in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. It has been Saadatu Garba. Thank you for watching this installment of the program. Please join me next time for something fresh and inspiring.
taste and texture, and that's all about the delicious, mouth-watery, tasty, yummy-licious French toast. Hope you give it a try. I'm sure my co-host Ramsey will not be giving it a try. He prefers the normal bread and eggs, and he's good. But French toast, delicious. All right, now let's tilt over to Heart Inspirational with my co-host Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, it's a beautiful day right here and I'm so excited to come on your way this beautiful morning. How did you wake up? Did you wake up loving or you woke up hating? Alright, I want us to look at a very particular subject for you this morning. You can follow us on all our social media platforms now showing on your screen so that you can be part of every inspirational. It's now time for us to talk heart to heart. Yes, my name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Let's look at the subject of love this morning. Yes, love. What is love? What do you think about love? This is what love does. In case you don't know, love strengthening is a strength that makes life worth living during hardship. One of the things that keeps you going during hardship is love. And that is the power of love. It cannot be underestimated any time, any day. But then if you underrate love, then you are in for a long thing. But then it's so exciting that we are talking heart to heart today, so we can at least get one or two tips on how love can be the strength that will make your life worth living during hardship, during disappointment, during betrayal. You know, when the economy is saying no, the only thing that said yes is love. Let's just have a little talk about the subject of love of this beautiful day. Life is a journey, as a matter of fact, and it is a journey that is filled with seasons. There are moments of joy, moments of celebration, moments of success, and moments of laughter. But there are also moments of pain, like I said when we were getting started, moments of disappointment, moments of uncertainty, and of course struggle, which is always part of life, like some persons will tell you. But then at some point, every one of us will face hardship. It may come in the form of financial difficulty. It may come in the form of the loss of a loved one, unemployment, whatever you want to call it, illness, betrayal, or broken dreams, broken heart, a shattered vision. But then at every point in time in your life when you're being faced with this difficulty, you should know that there is something that strengthens you during hardship in life. So during such times, what do you have to do? Let me tell you that many people begin to ask questions. Is life still worth living because of what they are going through? At any moment in your life, when you start asking such questions as, is life still worth living? It means you are trying to derail. But the answer is yes. Anytime, any day, no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation, no matter what your parents are saying, no matter what the economy is saying, no matter the betrayal, no matter the loss, no matter the wasteful, no matter the struggle, life is still worth living at any time, any day. You don't need to think suicide at any point in your life. I've seen people think about negative things, go to do evil things because they feel life is not worth living anymore. Anytime, any day, I want to assure you that life is worth living no matter the circumstance. I don't know what you're going through this beautiful day. I call it a beautiful day because you need to know that life is beautiful and life is worth living. So you never need to ask questions such as, if life is worth living, life of course is worth living. And one of the greatest reasons life remains worth living is love. Oh my God, love is more than an emotion. It's not what you think. Love is beyond what you think it is. Love is beyond emotions. It is a force that gives us the courage to rise after fall. Love reminds us that We are not alone. We are not alone. There is someone loving you more than the way your mother can love you. There is someone who cares about you more than the way your friends cares about you. And that person wants you to live. That personality wants you to be successful in life. So whenever you think about taking your life for any reason because you feel things are difficult, even when the road is difficult, what do? You keep going. When everything else seems to fail, genuine love continues to give you hope. It depends on the arms of whoever you end. It depends on whoever is around you. And that's the reason I said all the time, you need to be careful about your own association. Because association brings assimilation. What are you giving your ears to every time? What are you giving your heart to? What are you always thinking about? I want you to think about a child learning to work. The child falls repeatedly. So many times you see the child trying to walk, the child will fall. The mother will pick the child up again, or the child will start up again. What do you need to do like a child? You need to keep trying, because loving parents are encouraging every step that you take. The love gives the child confidence in the same way. Oh, you can walk again. The child falls, the parents pick the child up, and that gives the strength to continue when lives knock us down, whether you like it or not. There will be times no one in as much as you have blood in you, if you are flesh and blood, there will be times that something will knock you down. There are times that you'll be weighed down. There are times that situations will want to suggest something negative to you, but then you need to know that there is love. And first of all, there is no way love can work for you from any other person if you don't love yourself first. First love should be self-love. Yeah, first love should be self-love. All right, first love. When anyone talk about first love, the only thing that comes to my mind is self-love. So first love should be self-love. You need to love yourself first before any other person can show you love, before you can know the value of love and what love can bring to the table, what love can do for you. First of all, you need to love yourself, or else every other proclamation of love will not mean anything to you. So I want you to know this morning that, of course, we are in a world where so many things are happening. And as a matter of fact, let me intimate you this morning that hardship has a way of revealing what truly, of course, is around you. And I want you to know that love is something that money cannot buy. Because hardship has a way of revealing what truly matters. Sometimes money may not even matter, because that money could disappear anytime. Positions may change. Where you are today is another person's prayer point. So you need to make mark wherever you are today, in any position where you are, because that position is going to change. You are going to live there someday. That's why most times when you hear me talk, I talk about politicians who come into office and they want to live as if, well, they are the top of the world. That's all. There is nothing that matters to them anymore. Treat people anyhow. But then one day you will leave that position, and one day you may even leave the earth. We've seen a lot of big men, a lot of very wealthy people that have died and gone. Where are they today? What about all the wealth they've accumulated from themselves without showing people love by sharing what they have? Friends may come and go, but the love of family, genuine friends, caring neighbors, and compassionate strangers can keep a person alive emotionally and mentally. I want you to know that history is filled with stories of people who survive impossible situations because someone believed in them. But first of all, you need to believe in yourself before anyone believes in you. A word of encouragement, a helping hand, or simply someone saying, I am here for you. I am always here for you. You need to know that there is always someone who is there for you. And of course, knowing that there is always someone who cares for you. I don't like it when people say, nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. No! There are people who loves you. There are people who like you. It is not people who flaunt around you to say I love you, to say I like you hypocritically, that really love you. There are people who loves you from a distance, people who are praying for you, people who want you to succeed in life, people who want you to live destiny, people who want you to matter in your business, they want you to grow in your workplace, they want your career to expand and you achieve success. So anytime in the day, you need to know that there are people who believes in you. Sometimes love is not about solving every problem that you have. Sometimes it is simply about standing beside someone until the storm passes. Storms don't last always. Storms will come. It could even come from people you least expect. But then you need to know that storms don't last always. There are people who are wishing you good. The people who wish you good are more than the people who wish you bad. In case you don't know, I want you to know these. And of course, we're talking about love today. And love, I want to tell you, that is also a teacher that teaches us resilience. And of course, when we love, we find reasons to fight for tomorrow. Parents endure hardship because of the love they have for their children. Husbands and wives sacrifice, neighbors sacrifice, colleagues in the office sacrifice so many things to make sure there is success all around. There is success with everybody in the establishment, in the neighborhood, in the house, because that is what love is all about. But if you don't give love, don't expect love in return. If you are that person that always hates people, you always talk about people, you tell people down, people don't mean anything to you, you look at people and you just see them as if they don't mean anything because you are wealthy, or probably because you feel you are above them. I want you to know that love is going to be far away from you because you are not a giver of love. You don't show love, so don't expect to get love in return. And that's the truth about life, okay? But then our friends support each other through difficult seasons. Why? Because love refuses to abandon people in their weakest moment. When anyone is weak, help the person to be strong. When anyone is poor, help the person to be rich. That is what life is all about, because one day you would also have time when you will need people in your life to show you love. But love is not only about receiving. In case a lot of people don't know, love is not all about receiving. It is also about giving. There is a saying that blessed is the hand that giveth and the hand that taketh. Let me give you an instance. If you are receiving from someone, your hand is always under, the person's hand is always at the top. And what does it mean? It means that person will always be above you. So whether little, whether small, whether it's even a kindness, try to show someone love. Try to give someone something. All right, let your hand be at the top once in a time. Even if it is not all the time, at least once upon a time, let your hand be at the top, meaning you're the one giving and the person receiving's hand is under. Let not your hand always be under. Don't always think of what you will get, always think of what you will give in form of love. As a matter of fact, let me just round up that the subject of love is not something that we can talk about in a very short time. So many in my mind to talk about, but then you may not have millions of naira to change someone's life, all right, but yet a smile, a phone call, a visit, a kind word, a sincere prayer. In your closet, there are people praying for you all the time that you don't even know. They're interceding for you. They want you to be good. That organization where you are working, there is somebody praying that organization will go up all the time. In your family, the situation between you and your husband, some people don't even know, but they are seeing it from a far distance and they are praying for you to be successful in that marriage, for God to mend that marriage and make it a very, very flourishing. Sometimes sharing a meal can become the miracle someone desperately needs. Never underestimate the power of kindness, the power of love. What seems small to you may be the reason another person decides not to give up. So there is another important truth about love. We must also learn to love ourselves. Like I said, self-love is not selfishness. It means believing that your life has value even when circumstances suggest otherwise. It means you're loving yourself. You know, I am a value. I am a good project going somewhere to happen. That business, I am going to grow in that business. I'm going to own estate in FCT, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, wherever you want. So just have that self-love. Believe in yourself, first of all, before anyone believes in you. It means refusing to define yourself by your failure. Every setback is temporary. Every dark night eventually gives away to the morning. Well, thank you everyone for being part of Heart to Heart today. I believe someone has been inspired, even if it is small. At least love yourself, show love, and know that there is something that will always strengthen you in times of weakness, disappointment, struggling, and difficulty. Thank you for being part of Heart to Heart today. Have a beautiful day. I see you being successful. I see you being a great man, a great woman. All right, see you on the other side of success. Bye bye for now. All right, everyone, that was another session of inspiration. Now we'll take you to the national dailies to see the newspapers that we have for you today. We'll bring you these newspapers to keep you abreast of what the stories that are making headlines. And of course, we have this the following newspaper headlines. And of course, we'll bring you those headlines immediately. But then, before we bring you the headlines, let's go on a quick break, after which we'll bring you the national dailies.
All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, yes, we're about to begin the newspaper review segment. And we're starting with the first paper of the day. It's the Blueprint newspaper. above the nameplate, and it says Tinubu to VCs, universities must respond to changing labor market needs. And that read you will find on page 14 on the Blueprint newspaper. Below the nameplate, it says Abel Eniton replaces Didi Wilson Jack as HOCSF, and that you will see on page 4. And next on that, it says on the business segment on the Blueprint, it says agriculture credit hits 3.86 trillion naira as banks cut oil manufacturing lending. And then next on sports segment, it says here Joshua Fury fight may hold in New York, and that's from Hearn, and that you will find on page 8. Now the star story on the Blueprint reads, Tinubu boost Nel Fund with EFCC recovered loot, unclaimed dividend, dormant funds. And they have two writers. They said Alausa explains affected assets. FEC approves 155.3 billion naira for National Library. And on the side of the paper, it says hoodlums attack Adeleke's convoy. Governor gets INEC certificate of return. Congratulations to the governor of Osun State there. And here below that, it says fuel subsidy removal, forex reforms saves Nigeria 15.8 trillion naira in 30 months, and that's from Oyedele. And the rider reads below, it says proceeds redirected to profitable investments, says Idris. And on page 19, it says Tugan, Madaki, Zuba Road, 9 others ready before 2027 election. And that's from the FCT minister, Yesom Wike. And on page 4, it says DRC, Ebola outbreak remains far from control. And that's from the WHO, and that's a cause for concern. And on page 11, it says only 59 CASU staff resigned since 2024, not 200, and that's from the Kaduna government. And below the foot of the Blueprint, and it's from the Vice President Kashim Shettima, and that's on page 3, it says Nigerians can't build $1 trillion economy without women participation, and I completely agree. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Blueprint newspaper. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with the major issues making rounds. Let's flip over to the Hope newspaper. Over to you, Ramsey.
Well, thank you very much. And now on the Hope newspaper, Aida Tiwa mourns ex-Labour leader Ba Arije. A pension adjustment, heavy security as military retirees protest in Abuja. Shettima returns early from 2 weeks leave. So what's the problem? As 2027 campaign kicks off. All right. I think there's need for him to be part of that campaign. First Lady commissions a 250-bed medical center in Ogun State. And now the star story on the Hope's newspaper, subsidy removal. Naira float saved Nigeria 15.8 trillion naira. This is attributed to Oyedele. Two riders to that story. The first rider says a least wage increase, infrastructure, Nel Fund, social transfer as benefit of reforms. A second rider says reforms generated savings in 30 months. Flooding. Ondo government begins desilting of waterways Thursday. Target Ileaje, Ese Odo, Irele, Akitipupa and Ondo itself. This one says INEC presents certificate of return to Adeleke and deputy. Ekiti approves a 3 billion naira new high court complex, fills 26 years or was tool. And those are the headlines for you on the Hope newspaper as we move to the next point of call, which is the Daily Times.
All right, now the Daily Times newspaper, and below the nameplate it says FG borrows 11.9 trillion naira in 30 months despite 15.8 trillion naira subsidy savings. And of course, Rider says minister says reserved at $52.5 billion, GDP growth hits 3.89%. And below that, it says here, not much stories here, but it says Adeleke escapes gunman attack on convoy in Oshobo, receives certificate of return. And above that is the news says World Humanitarian Day, UN report reveals 1,932 deaths in Northeast. And in on the business segment, it says Channel recovered EFCC funds on claimed dividends to now fund Tinubu orders. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Daily Times. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed with the major issues making rounds. Next, we have the Vanguard.
On the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Nigeria targets a 3 million barrel per day of $50 billion investment, a 211 FCF gas reserve that's coming from the federal government. Accolades for Vanguard. Uncle Sam as ex-staff launch book reunites Plan Media Library. AFEC approves forensic audit to identify fake agencies, ghost employees. This one, which is the star story, says allocations can't guarantee prosperity for states. Oyedele is the one saying that. Some riders to that story says a government saved 15.8 trillion naira from subsidy removal. Note, wage bill exceeded subsidy savings. Account for 30 trillion naira subsidy windfall now. This is Atiku challenging Tinubu. Tinubu appoints Abel Enitom as HOCSF. Right? Finally, hoodlum shot at Adeleke's convoy in Oshobo. And those are the headlines for you on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, now the Guardian newspaper, and that will be our last paper of today. And of course, below the nameplate on the Guardian, it says on page 3, 2027, Nigeria risks revenge of the poor over worsening hardship, Tomi warns. And on page 3 again, it says 9.5 trillion naira salary bill, FEC targets ghost workers, payroll fraud. And on page 3 it says 2027, look beyond campaign slogans, OB challenges Nigerians. And on the Star read on page 6, it says state spending faces scrutiny over 15.8 trillion naira windfall, citizens' welfare. And on page 7, it says El-Rufai's bid to transfer trial fails as Kaduna CJ backs Justice Hobo. And on page 8, it says military pensioners storm defense ministry to protest 12-month arrears. And on page 6, it says Tinubu orders security overhaul amid concerns over policing gun violence. And on the business segment on page 25, it says pre-election anxiety, profit-taking wipe 5 trillion naira from NGX after 160 trillion naira peak. And it says here, Magu massacre, northern senators reject condolences, demand action. And that's on page 8. And basically, those are all the major headlines on the Guardian newspaper. And that brings us to the end of the newspaper review segment on Global Television. But note that Global Television or the Global Morning crew have no input whatsoever on the editorial guidelines or headlines of the papers. It was just read to you exactly how it was published. And still on Global Morning, next is Social Buzz with Ogochukwu Mobono. Stay tuned.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert...
Imagine having the power of television, movies, news, and entertainment right in your pocket. Welcome to Free TV App, Nigeria's all-in-one digital TV experience. With Free TV App, you get access to over 100 live TV channels, breaking news, sports, movies, kids shows, and more. All from a single mobile app. No decoder stress, no complicated setup, just download, open, and start watching. Free TV is television reimagined for the digital age. To get started, simply search Free TV on the Google Play Store or Free TV NG on the Apple App Store, or scan the QR code on your screen. Once installed, register in seconds using your phone number, email, WhatsApp, Google ID, or Apple ID. Secure OTP verification ensures safe and seamless access. Inside the app, explore content directly from the home screen or navigate easily using the various tabs. The Live TV section gives you access to over 100 licensed channels, complete with an electronic program guide, EPG, pause, rewind, and catch-up features. The Video On Demand library offers up to 500 hours of curated content, including Nollywood movies, drama series, documentaries, kids and educational programs. You can resume playback, save favorites, and download content to watch offline. The News tab delivers real-time updates across breaking news, sports, entertainment, technology, and pop culture, all in one place. Free TV is more than an app. It's a digital revolution in broadcasting. Download the Free TV app today. Tired of the
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to start buzzing the issues making the rounds on social media. Today we're looking at military pensioners' protest in Abuja over benefit adjustment. Retired military personnel on Wednesday, August 19, staged a protest in Abuja over the alleged non-implementation of consequential adjustments to their pensions following salary increases approved for 7 military personnel. The pensioners gathered at an open field in Area 10 Gariki near the Ministry of Defense, carrying placards with various inscriptions urging the federal government to implement outstanding salary adjustments in their pension. President Tinubu had recently approved a new salary scale for 7 military officers with a view to bolstering their performance across all the theaters of operations in the country. Personnel from the rank of colonel to warrant officers were approved for a 50% increase, while soldiers from staff sergeants to privates were to receive an 80% increase. The retired military officers drawn from the Armed Forces, Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Immigration Service, Vehicle Inspection Officers, VIO, and others argue that the recent increments should not have left them out, having served the country diligently for 35 years or more. Speaking on behalf of the protesters, a retired Lieutenant Colonel Innocent Anna said pensioners were legally entitled to consequential adjustment whenever the salaries of 7 personnel were increased. He said the salary increase approved for military and paramilitary personnel in November 2025 had yet to be reflected in the pensions of retired personnel. Let's take a look at that report.
Scores of security personnel from the Nigerian military, police, immigration service, vehicle inspection officers, and other agencies were deployed around the headquarters of Ministry of Defense in Abuja. The deployment followed a planned protest by retired military personnel over the alleged exclusion of retirees from the consequential adjustments arising from the new salary structure. For retirees, leaving active service has brought a new struggle. Surviving on pension, they say, no longer reflects the realities of economy or the sacrifice made during their years in uniform. They are demanding that retirees be included in the computation of funds for the consequential adjustment expected to take effect from September. The retiree says their exclusion is unacceptable, particularly at a time when there is serious inflation in the country.
But it's not a favor. It is our constitutional and legal right to be included in the computation of funds for the implementation. Yes, sir. That is all what we are asking for.
Who are you directing your message?
Let me say, particularly the retirees. Honestly, we don't have any other way than this pension. And if by law, if you increase soldier salary, there's what it's called, you harmonize it. There must be an adjustment that makes it goes in pari passu with the retirees.
For many of the protesters, the issue goes beyond an increase in pension. They say it is about fairness, dignity, and recognition of their years spent serving the nation. They appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the federal government to intervene, as many retirees are already facing severe hardship only a few years after leaving active service.
Pension rights.
And the medical discharge.
If we get conviction now, if you get clear information, oh, sorry, we skipped it, we are including it in the company, we all go. We're not happy to be here. Yes. But when some fellows in the office feel so insensitive to our pains.
So personally, I am sick presently. I find it difficult to go to hospital. Drugs are not friendly. The prices of drugs are not friendly. So you know, when we are in the society, we are no more in the military where government takes care of us. Really, when you are in the military, government takes care of you. Your medical, everything is secured. But now, when you are retired, you retire back to your village, my dear brother. They say medical, whatever. We can't reach.
The retiree says they will sustain the protest until their concerns are addressed, insisting that pensioners must not be left behind in the implementation of the new salary regime. Meanwhile, in a statement signed by the Director of Information, Ministry of Defense, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Gwabi Musa, retired, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to the welfare, remuneration, and pension concern of the military veterans. The minister assured the retirees that the issue raised are receiving the attention they deserve. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
All right, thank you so much, Kiki Olemo Kiri, for that report right there. Let's take a look at some comment from social media as regards this particular report. And the first comment we're taking here is from OK Gabriel. And OK said, dear Nigerian soldiers, you're looking at a visual representation of your past, present, and your future in one moment. What would you like to say to your future self? Say it now. So sad. Second comment is coming from Fikuna Demi, and Fikuna Demi says, I think they have a legitimate policy argument. If government increases the pay of several personnel while leaving retirees on outdated pension scales, it creates an obvious disparity and weakens confidence in the military pension system, especially for people who serve for decades. The government should publish the legal basis, calculation, and implementation timeline clearly, because prolonged delay risks turning a pension administration issue into a broader trust and welfare crisis. Thank you so much, everyone who dropped their thoughts concerning this topic today. I have been saying this. When I saw this report yesterday evening, I said to myself, retiring shouldn't feel like a disease. You shouldn't be scared to retire. But right now in Nigeria, a lot of retirees, in fact, before retiring, you are already scared because you feel like they are going to abandon you. Imagine spending 35 years of your life in acting service. You did all you could do. You were there in the war front. You went for trainings. You were actually there. These people are not just ordinary humans at this point. You should treat them with care, even when they are in service and even outside service, or when they are out of service. It's very important. You could see that these people are aged people. They have worked so hard for the country. They really did their best. Working 35 years is not a joke, and it's such, a security agency is not a joke. As a security agency in Nigeria, it's not a joke at all. I really feel bad for these retirees. And just like one of the comments reads, if you are going to increase the salary of the people who are still active in service, then it should reflect in that of the pensioners. Well, I'm not alone this morning. I have with me Ramsey and well, good morning, Ramsey.
Yes, good morning, Ogochukwu. It's good to be with you on Global. Did I say Global Morning?
Global Morning, of course. It's good to be with you too. It's a segment, of course.
Yeah, it's a segment of.
All right, so it's good to be with you on this Thursday morning, where we'll talk about the welfare of pensioners and military. I feel so bad, just like I read through, VIO and other, the immigration service, custom, and the rest are also saying that we are not also we shouldn't be left behind. If you are doing military, then paramilitary, we are also suffering the same thing. That's to show you that it is a general problem. I also realized that recently the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu increased, has been doing very well when it comes to pensioners. But I don't know if it's reflecting the life of military and paramilitary, personnel. But clearly, it's not reflecting, and you cannot leave these people like that. One of them just said, "I am sick, but I cannot even afford to pay hospital bills or buy medicine. Right now, you can't even be sick. I must tell you the truth." I was just saying it, just while the video was playing, and I said to you, Ramsey, you cannot even treat malaria. Malaria was hit as one of the slightest sickness you can, in Nigeria, you can have in Nigeria, but you cannot treat for 20,000 naira, except you want to buy a roadside drug or you want to just go to the counter and pick up drugs by yourself. But if you go to the hospital and follow all the procedures, my dear, you can never get that drug, a complete dosage of malaria for just 20,000 naira. It's so painful. What can you say about this?
Well, it's a painful situation, and we talked about malaria, which is one of the most common sickness in Nigeria, because the mosquito is always our neighbors in Nigeria.
Especially this rainy season, we have water everywhere.
So it's pathetic. I felt for that man who said he's ill. He didn't tell us what the sickness is, but then when you retire with sickness and you can't treat yourself, and you begin to think back of the he said something, he gave the military accolade, the way they take care of sick personnel while in service.
Yes.
But when you're out of service, there is no such provision. So I think it is a call somehow indirectly to the federal government that there should be, even if it is a skeletal medical service for our retired pensioners, it will be better instead of just leaving them to themselves, because some even retire with injuries and all of that. So I don't know why that is actually happening. Then you begin to talk about that first comment caught me. It is a reflection of your present, past, and your future.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what it means. In a country where we're being faced with a lot of security challenges, insecurity everywhere, we need to take care of people who know what it is, all right, to stay in security, what it means to handle insecurity and all of that. A lieutenant colonel is part of the people protesting. That's to tell you that it has gone just too far. I was just thinking while the video was playing, all right, these people standing now, what are they thinking? Because whether you like it or not, one day you are also going to be...
They are still a reflection of themselves very soon. That's what it is.
Of themselves very soon. So even the minister, I'm so excited that the Minister of Defense is a retired...
military personnel, yes.
So he knows exactly what these people are talking about, and I'm excited that he has reacted, he has responded, and the federal government, I believe they are going to do something very soon.
All right, while we also keep believing that they are going to do something real quick, well, like I said earlier, the paramilitary service people, they are already saying, you know what, we are part of these people. If they are doing something to the military, they should also do something real quick for us, so everywhere is fair. All right, well, this is all we have today. We wish we had more time because we have so much to talk about today, but then we have guests lined up waiting for us because we have other discussions to take on Global Morning. Thank you once again, Ramsey, for your contribution to today's topic. And I'm all going to come your way next time. I'll be leaving in the hands of Jumai and Ramsey as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. Once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk. Only on Global TV.
Imagine having the power of television, movies, news, and entertainment right in your pocket. Welcome to Free TV App, Nigeria's all-in-one digital TV experience. With Free TV App, you get access to over 100 live TV channels, breaking news, sports, movies, kids shows, and more. All from a single mobile app. No decoder stress, no complicated setup, just download, open, and start watching. Free TV is television reimagined for the digital age. To get started, simply search Free TV on the Google Play Store or Free TV NG on the Apple App Store, or scan the QR code on your screen. Once installed, register in seconds using your phone number, email, WhatsApp, Google ID, or Apple ID. Secure OTP verification ensures safe and seamless access. Inside the app, explore content directly from the home screen or navigate easily using the various tabs. The Live TV section gives you access to over 100 licensed channels, complete with an electronic program guide, EPG, pause, rewind, and catch-up features. The Video On Demand library offers up to 500 hours of curated content, including Nollywood movies, drama series, documentaries, kids and educational programs. You can resume playback, save favorites, and download content to watch offline. The News tab delivers real-time updates across breaking news, sports, entertainment, technology, and pop culture, all in one place. Free TV is more than an app. It's a digital revolution in broadcasting. Download the Free TV app today.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states.
Now it's time for us to bring you the first conversation for the day as we look at Nigeria's security challenge. By the day, it keeps deteriorating. So we have an expert who is going to be talking to us about that today. We'll look at insecurity, counter-terrorism, and of course, the safety of citizens. Let's look at it while looking at it from the political aspect. Some people said the security situation has been politicized. We'll have a political analyst and a security expert join us on the program in the person of Dr. Moses Saleh. It's good to have you join us this morning, Doctor.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me again.
All right. The security situation in the country is deteriorating by the day, and it has become a very big challenge. Are we saying that politics is more given credence compared to the security challenge in Nigeria?
All right. Thank you for the opportunity again to come and interact with Nigerians through your platform. When you talk about the security situation in Nigeria, the kind of security issue that we have in Nigeria is mostly driven by insurgency and terrorism. And when you look at insurgency, for instance, so insurgency is basically a political protest, because every form of insurgency is political. Every form of insurgency is political. And when you look at the terrorism aspect of it, is mainly the strategy that they use, in projecting their act. You see, when they carry out any dastardly act, they try to terrorize people. They try to terrorize people, but basically, insurgency is a political issue. So when you talk about politicizing our security, the foundation of the security issue in Nigeria is political in the first instance. Although there are other elements that are attached to it, there are other criminalities that are attached to it. For instance, the issue of kidnapping for ransom. When people are kidnapped or they are abducted, monies are paid for their release. These are the criminal aspect of it. But the essence, the real issue of insurgency anywhere in the world, not just limited to Nigeria, is political. And why is it political? It's because they want to change the way things are to the way they perceive it should be. For instance, when you look at Boko Haram, they say that nobody should embrace Western education and all that. It's because they have an ideology they believe that they want to impose on the people. And that ideology is mostly driven by the Islamic tenets, which is Sharia. So this is where the issue lies. So it's political. For ab initio, it's political. It's not just now that politics is coming into it. It has been political from the beginning. But the only difference is that, when we are moving towards a major political event like national election and all that, you can see the intensity of it. The intensity of the security situation might be heightened, just to define that political environment at that time. But the essence of it is highly political.
Aside being political, but what role does poverty and unemployment play in the security challenges that we're facing in Nigeria?
Yeah, you cannot divulge that from the security situation in the country, because unemployment makes people to be available to be recruited into, carrying out that act. Because if people are meaningfully engaged in their legitimate activities, they don't really have the time to be involved in anything that has to do with that kind of behavior, because they are already engaged. But when they are not engaged and they are doing nothing, so they are available for recruitment. So that is where the unemployment dimension comes in. And also poverty is also a major factor, because when people are poor, for instance, when people are poor, they are ill-educated and they are ill-informed and they lack basic things of life. So by the time, peanuts are offered to them, it's very easy for them to be convinced, to accept, whatever that is being said to them. So poverty and unemployment, they are more or less like a supporting effect, but they are not the main issue, but they support the agitation, the insurgent agitation, by making themselves available for recruitment and making themselves available to be paid. So they see that as a means of livelihood. They see that as a job, because they are not meaningfully engaged in doing something that is more legitimate, that will contribute to their lives and their economy. So poverty and unemployment strengthen the insecurity in the country, because by making a pool of people available to be used for that purpose. So this is where the problem lies.
Of intelligence as it has to do with the security situation in this country. We've heard severally that there are informants, all right, because of the way some things have happened among our security operatives and even between the Boko Haram or terrorists and our security operatives. What do you make of the issue of leakage of information, trust? Then you talk about being sold out.
Well, in everywhere, it's not limited to Nigeria alone. When you talk of intelligence, those in this sector, there is something they called OPSEC, that's Operation Security. Operation Security. You know, when intelligence is received and is well processed, there's every need for you to guide it. But for the execution, it's not only one person or one institution or one agency that may be involved in the execution phase. So because you are going to carry a number of people, a number of agencies along to execute an operation, there is need for you to give them responsibilities. You know, that the responsibilities that you are giving them, they are intelligence driven. So because they are intelligence driven, you don't know if you have control over your own agency. You may not have control over the others. So for that reason, there could be leakages from there. And those leakages can lead to what you are trying to talk about. So you in the course of trying to execute something, they try to implement something, there is that possibility that you are likely to give out certain level of information. And as you are giving this information, you don't really have control of what the person does with that information. So there could be leakages from there. And when there are leakages from there, then the consequences could be unimaginable. No matter how little it is, it could be unimaginable. So this is where you need to protect the kind of information that you divulge when you are carrying out a major security operation in that manner. Because you are more sure of your end. You are not sure of what the other person does with the information that you give. So that is from the security sector. But from the opposing sector, which is the insurgents, they also have their own network of intelligence. Because where the national security derives its intelligence from, they also derive their own intelligence from such place. They also derive their own intelligence from such place. That is why, because the populace provides the intelligence to the security, the insurgents or the terrorists also get their own intelligence from the populace. So it may not necessarily leak from the security apparatuses. It may even come from the populace who have given the intelligence to the security forces and also share the same intelligence with the insurgents. So it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing.
The government's effort. We keep appreciating the government all the time for their efforts. But then, what is your assessment of the efforts of government, even though we know it is a collective responsibility of every Nigerian, from the community down to the national level? But then what's your assessment of the efforts so far, coming from the federal government, the state where a lot of FARC is going to? We have states some states, I don't know, I don't want to use the word shut down or taken over by these terrorists. States like Benue, Plateau, the North Central especially, and the Northeast, the Northwest. But now, what's your assessment of the government, the state, the council, and even the community's effort so far as it has to do with the security challenges in Nigeria?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. when you want to do a comprehensive assessment of what the government is doing in terms of the security situation in the country, I don't want to sound biased, when I'm talking about, assessing what government has done and all that. Thank you that you even, try to break it down by, cascading to other levels of government, the state and also at the local. And let's start with the federal government. When it comes to national security, it is the responsibility of the federal government to provide national security, the protection of lives and properties of citizens. It is the core responsibility because it is the federal government that commands the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's also the federal government that commands the police. And also there are other paramilitary organizations like the NCDC, the customs, the immigration, and so on and so forth. The federal government commands these forces. So it's aptly said that the federal government is in charge of national security. That's good. But in terms of what the government has done, we won't say that the government has not done anything. I think that's not the right thing to say. But we still demand that they should do more, considering the security challenge that we are facing in the country. They should do more. The government is trying to do, but the challenges are trying to overwhelm the situation. So the government should do more. The state governments, they are the ones that, that are more or less laid back in this battle. And I understand their situation because they may say they don't command they don't command the army, they don't command the police, they don't command all that. Yes, I agree with you that they don't do that. But there are other efforts that the state government can do. There are other initiatives that the state government can use to address security situation within their domain. For instance, in this age of digitalization and technology, it is not out of place if the state government have a robust command and control room whereby all the localities within the states, all the local government within the states, all the places where they consider as flashpoints within the states, they are monitored real time in such a manner that by the time they see anything that signifies a threat to life and property, they can quickly alert, the security forces for quick response. Some states have done that, but many states have not done that. That is within their, but they can do that. They can invest in that. They can invest in that, by getting the equipment that is required to ensure that the entire state is covered. Monitored real time. They can also, some of them are even, gone further to have vigilante services, monitoring here and there. But the major gap is that these vigilante services, their guards are not well equipped. They can equip them. It's not a must that they have, the AK-47 that they are looking for. But they can as well have other layers of arms that can help as they continue to police the state. So they can equip them very well, in the manner that they can be able to operate. Number three, they can also, increase their intelligence network. The states can increase, the state and local government can deliberately, intentionally increase their intelligence gathering network in such a manner that, all the local chiefs that are there, the chiefs that are in charge of districts, in charge of clans, in charge of villages and all that, can be brought into the intelligence network in a manner that these people now also have further deployment of people that reports to them, then they report back to the authority. So that can help, addressing some of these security issues. So by just sitting down and saying, give us state police, but you have not done anything that can aid, even if you have given the opportunity to have state police today? What have you done preparing yourself in such a manner that when the state police is eventually granted, you now have a foundation that you can work with? Most of them don't have that. So the bulk of, the issue, the gap that we have noticed so far has to do with the contribution of other layers of government like the state and the local government. If they can do some of these three things that I have highlighted, it will go a long way in reducing the security situation within our localities for a while. But if they do not do anything about it, the federal government deployment alone of the army and other forces is not likely to address this problem in the manner that we desire. But the contribution that comes from the bottom, the local government, the state, and all that, can go a long way in addressing this thing. So these layers of government should also, use their initiative to do what they ought to do in terms of addressing the security situation in the country.
When you said the contributions of local government and all hands on deck coming into place in order to nip this particular menace in the bud, which is insecurity. What's your take on state policing? Do you think it has all it takes to stand the test of time in order to working together with the armed forces to actually curb this menace of insecurity that we see, or we're facing in Nigeria at the moment?
All right, thank you very much. The issue of state police, like I said when I was on your show the last time, it's not out of place to have a state police in Nigeria. Because number one, Nigeria practices federalism, and one of the major principles of a federal government or an environment where there is federalism is that powers are decentralized, institutions are decentralized, in the manner that addresses the peculiarities within the environment where they are. So when you have state police and people are recruited within the state, are given clear instruction on what to do and how to go about it, it will go a long way in reducing crime. Because the people have the advantage of what the weather is. They have lived there all their life, so they understand the weather within their state. They understand the environment, how the mountains are, how to assess the mountains, how to go through the forest, how to navigate themselves around. They know each other to some extent. They know which family. They know history of family. They know those who have the families that have the potentials of committing crime, and the families that have been very peaceful for centuries. They know them. So all this information, go a long way in helping to address, crime and criminalities within the state. But notwithstanding, it's not just enough to have, the opportunity to create state police. The major challenge is that the quality of people you are bringing on board, the quality of training that you should render to them. Have you prepared yourself for that? Because if you do not train them very well, if you do not recruit the right people into this force, it will become a problem itself. So they should, as the government is thinking towards that direction of allowing states to have police, having a dual police mandate, the states should also be thinking of the training, the recruitment and the training. What are the criteria that they are prepared to bring to recruit people into this force? And what kind of training, the training that you are going to give to these police officers in your state, are they compatible with your environment? Are they compatible with democratic tenets? Are they compatible with the culture that is prevailing within your environment? These are the things that they should be thinking through. Because if you just have the opportunity and you are given the go-ahead to start state police, and you do not consider these fundamentals, you are likely to start on the wrong foot. So they should consider these factors of training, because the federal police that we have seen all these years, we have seen how they behave on the road, and we know it's a training problem. The way you see a policeman on the road behaving, extorting people and all that, it's a training problem, because training brings discipline, and discipline brings cohesion. So when they are not properly trained, they don't have the discipline. And when they don't have the discipline, they will not be able to behave well on the job. So except they want to replicate what we already have at the federal level, which is not acceptable. In all standards, it's not acceptable. Because the training deficit of the current police force that we have is obvious. Their behavior is as a result of the training that they have received. So if you want to change that narrative, and you want to make the Nigerian police, something that is, should be worth emulating, then you should rethink your training. So they should talk about the training manuals that they are going to deliver. They should talk about the recruitment process. What are the criteria for bringing people that have history of crime and criminality should not come close to joining the police. Because when they got in, they will be influenced by some of their gangs that are outside. So they should also find out those things. They should, before you can get in, how do you come in? What are the processes? What are the procedures? They should be clearly outlined. So when they get that right, and they are giving the training and giving the environment, then they now talk about having a better country.
Popular belief, the government will always say it. Don't pay ransom. There's no need for payment of ransom if anyone is being kidnapped. But then some people will tell you, if your person is being kidnapped, what will you do? We've heard a lot of people saying they paid ransom, while some other persons from the government will say ransom was not paid and all of that. And there is this school of thought that kidnapping has become a lucrative job in Nigeria today because of the ransom that is being collected. But then there are processes, ways of communicating and all of that. That's bringing the NCC and other service providers into it. So what will you make of this issue of ransom payment and the inability of these kidnappers to be apprehended because they make calls and there is a connectivity for people who control it?
Well, you see, the issue of ransom, government is saying don't pay ransom and say pay ransom. You see, when you look at government policy on that, the government policy is that ransom should not be paid. That, they will find a way to see how they can rescue the victims, which is the government position. But you know that families that are victims of this kind of unfortunate incidents, they will not watch their loved ones perpetually remain in the custody of these bad guys. So for that reason, because they care so much for them, and they are desperate to have them out of the hands of these people, they go a long way by, looking for the funds to give them. They go a long way by looking for them, because if you want to wait for, for the government to get them released, they might be released at wrong run, but it might take some time. And in some cases, some of the victims don't even survive it. So for that reason, many families are concerned. So they quickly look for money and get paid. And that has been the motivation for these guys. Because by the time they bring people in and they get paid for it, they are now motivated to do more. That is why you see that issue of kidnapping has become so rampant in the country. Because it's a means for extortion. It's a means where they generate so much money. I think between last year and now, the estimation for the money that have been paid to these guys in terms of ransom for kidnapping and all that is in trillions of naira. It's in trillions of naira across the country. And that is the danger. Because when
that's it. Thank you very much. Our time is already up. But then when you talked about the trillion, I know a lot of people hear it and say, wow, this huge amount of money. That's the reason a lot of people are venturing into it. Thank you very much, Dr. Moses Saleh, for joining us on the conversation this morning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moses, for your wealth of knowledge on this particular topic. We really appreciate it.
All right, everyone.
Thank you for
this is the size of the conversation for you this morning as we go talk about democracy and the economy of this nation walking into 2027 and beyond. We'll have an expert talk about that on the program this morning. Stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Imagine having the power of television, movies,
Hello everyone and welcome to the second discussion for you this morning. Let's look at democracy and of course the economy. Is the economy being driven by our kind of democracy? What are leaders doing? Is it more politics and less attention to economy, or it is going pari passu? 2027 is around the corner, and of course campaign have started, and you will hear so much. But then, how much of attention do you think would be given to the economy, which is pivotal? Now we have this conversation right before us to be driven by an expert, a political economist in the person of Dr. Aliu Ilyas. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Doctor, for being here.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into the conversation right here. What do you think of Nigeria? Is politics having more attention compared to the economy, as a matter of fact?
Like in your introduction, you said political economy. So every economy is driven by the politics around it. So the policy of the politicians, there are factors that interest actually drive the economy. A good example is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All what he intends to achieve directly, you can see is directly, and National Assembly will take it. Remember, he changed the national anthem, just a simple decision. And he said that being his mind to do. Last time he created this, he's doing Lagos, Calabar, it's within what he actually wanted. If you notice, that does not even get to National Assembly for approval. So if you look at some politics, and let's even go beyond Nigeria, so if you look at Trump, most of the things he actually wanted to achieve, he continued to achieve it. So sometimes your leadership, your politics, actually determine what happens in your economy. He also came on board and said first subsidy is gone, and it's gone. He also said he wants a flotation of Naira. It actually came. There was no prior discussion on the implication of those things before you actually go out. So sometimes your democracy, your politics have effect on the economy. So in other words, your politics control your economy. That's why it is political economy. So if you have the right people at the end of affairs who have the economic interest, right? So I think it will also work. You can also see he mentioned that he wants the refinery to work. We are all hoping, but it didn't come out clearly because that is his direction. So sometimes you need to. That's the essence of political economy. It's the interplay between politics and the economy.
So what you're saying is you can actually balance the two, so there will be no lacuna when it comes to the when it has to do with politics and of course the economy as a whole.
Now you can only balance it when you have the good institution, when people are not bigger than the institution.
Okay.
That's a big one.
You can actually balance it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he called, according to what they quote, they said he called EFCC to unfreeze the account of Governor Adeleke.
Ocean State.
So I'm now asking you, does that show that individual is bigger than institution or institution is bigger than individual? So if an institution is probing an account, it's probing alleged maybe bad dealings, and you're not saying that you called that institution to withdraw and it was withdrawn immediately. So that simply means that in Nigeria today, in our democracy today, individuals, office holders are bigger than the institution.
So it has nothing to do with the circumstances surrounding that, because the election, we all know what is playing now. We don't have to go back and forth with it. Maybe he might feel as if there's that interference from the president. That was why he had to call that in order. He's not saying that do not freeze or unfreeze, but not at that time. That was the wrong time.
And that's what I was saying, that after he actually won the election again,
yes,
he also say, Mr. President, thank you. He also say, Mr. President called me to congratulate me. I don't see my opponent congratulating me. That's a signal. So in politics, that is very, very dangerous for us. He also saying that, his money is being seized up till now, local government money. So most pundits are saying, yes, it's doing that politics so that they can actually release those funds. So what we must do, are you aware that Trump has taken 13 cases up to Supreme Court and he lost as a president. He said he want A, B, and C, and people in the society say no, we do not want it, and it went to Supreme Court. So Trump has lost 13 cases
as a president.
Can it happen in Nigeria? That's where you have to look at democracy, and you look at what? Politics, and you look at how strong an institution should be. So if you have the right institutions, it will also caution at every point in time, adjust the president, the executive at every point in time. It will also checkmate the National Assembly, and then we'll have good outcome. Yes, we have all disrupted democracy from 1999. That's a good one. But what is the outcome? Have we actually gotten the dividend as expected? And that's why we say the interplay between politics and economy is very critical. Politics must not be seen above what happened in the economy.
All right. What are the factors that will be able to drive the economy of a nation, all right, in a democratic setting? Let's see if we have lacuna in those aspects in Nigeria as a country.
So the fact remains that, remember, the influence of political holder, their decisions, their interests must be lowered. Recall, Mr. President appoint Minister of Finance, he appoint the CBN governor, he appoint the FIR. In fact, there is this conversation around that. Why is it that all this appointment that has to do with finance tilts towards a particular part of the country? That is still democracy. So where is federal character? So these are the things we need to. So for me, he actually came with a lot of reform, right? But those reforms, are they immature or mature to actually apply in Nigeria as a country? Have we grown to that level? What is our economic capacity? If you look at what the NBS, Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, is bringing out, you see that we have a lot of challenges. For instance, the last report says that the food inflation is 20.31, while the headline inflation is 15.43. Is that not a serious contradiction for a country? If you ask me, that simply means that yes, there is decrease, but that decrease does not mean there is decrease in price. So what I'm trying to say is that the policy direction of Mr. President actually, matters. President came and said, I want NEL fund. I want to give Nigerians loan to actually, be able to go to school. So, and the question now is that what we actually needed? Now the loan, they say, according to them, they say there's no fund again. They want to use money seized by EFCC to actually fund it. For me, ab initio, I would say we need something like NEL fund. Because since we introduced NEL fund, before now, school fees of federal universities are around 40,000 to 100,000. But since the first subsidy removal, the fruition of Naira, it's over 200 or around 200. So do you make the school affordable or you make credit available? These are the things we must look at critically. So, and that's why most of those decisions are supposed to go to the National Assembly. They will juxtapose, they look at the pros and cons and say, okay, we don't need NEL fund. We only need to make education much more affordable. So for me, I believe in affordable education, not giving me loan to go to school. Because how many people do you want to capture? From record, maybe 1 million, where we have about 7 million people. So affordability is key compared to. Then who will now pay the loan? Where will they pay the loan? Is it when they get work? Remember there's some grant that was given. Are you aware that they are removing people's money now?
Yeah, trader money.
Pay. Thank you. I have friends that couldn't save in his account again. He's using his mommy's account. Because any money that drops on his account,
they pick it up.
Is that what we are going to expect after you have completed the university? So that's political economy. We must actually look at it and look at the consensus and agree. Not that one man would decide on. I don't actually blame this president. I think it's what has been going on in our politics.
All right. Now let's look at the stability of our economic growth. Since this administration came into office, has our economy been stable? Remember, when this policy came,
it affected a whole lot. But we heard analyst pundits say so much, well, we are recovering, we are doing better, GDP this, inflation that, and all. What do you think about the growth of our economy under this administration? Because, I don't know, but this campaign, I don't know if they are returning. Right. I don't know.
If you say, is our economy stable? Yes.
Okay.
Stable, yes, because you could see our foreign exchange is hovering around 1,350 up to 1,400, right? You could see our GDP is actually growing. It's about 4 point something. It meant about 3 point something. You also asked me, we have more reserve, more foreign reserve like never before. But the question is that, do we need stability or growth? From growth to development, which one do we have to choose? So, and that's why we have to balance it. So your economy could be stable does not mean you are where you want to be. Just like you are in primary one, I want to continue to be in primary one. It isn't for you to write exam and move to primary 2 and proceed. So we need to move from stability to growth, from growth to development. And that's the gap. So you cannot be in the same place and say you are very, very okay. So we must move beyond that. By now, I expect the dollar should have come to like 1,000. That's sign of growth, not sign of stability for 1 year. By now I believe that most of our economic indicators should have been better, so that it creates room for more than just our purchasing power and disposable income. We believe that it must have get better by now. But the answer is no, because if you have at a particular program yesterday, they were asking me, do I want government to increase salary? I said no. I recall the minister came out yesterday and said, and said people are asking about the first subsidy in money. You know what he said? He said the incremental expenditure is more than the gain of subsidy removal. I don't know if you get that can exactly that.
Break it down.
What he's trying to say is that all the money we are realizing from subsidy is not even enough to pay what we need to make do with. So why do you actually remove it in the first place? Because we said if we remove first subsidy, we'll have more money. Our fellow will not be going outside Nigeria, and Nigeria will have more money. And the money is going to some private individuals. But we are removing. The minister came out and said so. But for me, I actually know, because if naira to dollar is about 400-500 when we did not remove first subsidy, by the time we remove and float the naira, it's about 1,400. And he said that they're now using 1,446 or so to pay. Remember, the more you devalue your money, the more your debt payment increases. So the gain of it now, for me, I don't really see, because we always tell us that the state governments are getting more money. From fact allocation, from about 600 billion to 2.3 trillion that they actually share. But as it translates, if you ask me, is the value of the money. Because if you have 10 billion naira now, it does not really make meaning like your 2 billion naira before. So your salary is 70,000 naira now. It may not be better as your 30,000 naira as at 2022. So these are the things we must actually look at. So our economy is stable, yes. We can see most things are, are we growing? That's the question. Because you must grow before you can have the actual development. And what's the indicators of growing? There should be more employment opportunity. Are we having more employment opportunity? That's the word. Our inflation, is it actually reducing? The answer is actually no. Our NPR, the interest rate, is 26.5. Is it supposed to be there? No. Because if it remained there, no businessman, no small business, no manufacturers will be able to access credit to do business. And when you don't have credit to do business, it has implication on your employment. You have to reduce, or you are doing small businesses. It also affects our GDP. Remember, our GDP is growing as a function of service sector. And service sector cannot give you employment because it's portfolio investment. So they put their money in stock, and when they want to remove, they remove. But if it's a manufacturer that got money to invest, you would have built a big factory, employ over 1,000 people, like that, and that would have give people more purchasing power, employ more people, and create economic growth, not economic stability.
Let's tilt towards, still on the economy now. How do you think how can Nigeria diversify its economy and reduce the dependency on oil?
I think these presidents have actually done well. Though President Buhari also tried. And I know why. Do you know why I said so? You can tell me about 3 ministries that I was thinking that would have been a better way. Remember, he created the Ministry for Marine and Blue Economy. That's to actually address water, and other things around it. He also created the Ministry of Creative Economy, right? He created Ministry of Steel. If you look at those ministries, we don't have Ministry of Mining directly.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's mining.
Yes.
So if you look at these 4, is enough to take us far beyond where we used to be. If it is well arranged. Because I tried to actually look at it. What have those ministries brought to take? Yes, you are new. But if you are new 1-2 years, you should have get your stability. So for me, he has tried. And if you look at our earnings too, we have more earnings in mining now. We have mining corporation, we have seen it, but they need to do more, to make sure that those 4 ministries create new, opportunity for them. Just for me, his focus is good in terms of diversification, because if you look at it, they just signed a 50 billion deal or deep water investment. That's a very good one. Yes, but our argument now is that the way you sign for oil, which is our mainstay, why don't you do same in agriculture, in manufacturing, in other part of the Nigeria economy? So these are the things we must critically look at to actually achieve our intention.
All right, as it is right now, I think I'm enjoying the conversation. Now, let's talk about investors. The kind of democracy that we have, is it inimical to investors who, on their own part, could also boost the economy of the nation?
Remember, successive administration have traveled a lot weighing investors in the country. And this president has actually tried. But the fact is that as an investor, you must have some indicators before you can come and invest. It's very key, and that's why we are having huge investments in oil, not in other sectors. Number one thing is that you need a secure environment to really put your investment. Most investors prefer Abuja, Lagos, or Port Harcourt. Any other place, they don't want to go because of the volatility and uncertainty, and ambiguity in those environments. Right. So, but beyond that, also investors also want to look at your GDP. Remember, we rebase our economy.
Yes.
One of the reasons we rebase was to actually show the investors that we are good. Our economy is good. Our inflation is down. This and that. But as they actually give, it does not bring as expected. So investors will be looking at your inflation figures. They are coming here to also borrow money because some of them are not bringing their money. They are looking at your interest rate. They are looking at your purchasing power. As a Nigerians too, the way me and you expended our money period 2023 is not the same. You are not buying what you want now, you are buying what you need. So you are conscious of your money because spending 60% of your income is going to food. Now,
very true.
So you now want to pay rent, you want to pay school fees. So how do you now balance those? So now it is time that everybody is being economical in the spending. So these are the things we are actually talking about. So investors are looking at all these indicators to actually, come to actually invest, and they take it very, very serious in their own way of doing things. So investors are looking at those indicators to actually ensure they come to invest in your country. So to attract investment, you must also put up a lot of things in a better manner in Nigeria.
All right, I think there are other things that we need to, now that we've talked about investors, of course, looking at volatility and the rest of them, rates and how convenient the environment is.
And like I said, that is why investors invest in portfolio, in the stock.
Yes.
Not in the real sector that would have transformed Nigeria and give us a better employment, because they are looking at insecurity. They are looking at because when there is inflation, there is more money in portfolio. That's the benefit of inflation to them. when the inflation is down, the benefit there will reduce, and to move to fiscal investment that can actually transform. These are the things we must look at.
Is everything in the hands of the government? Let me just bring it now to democracy, because we're looking at democracy and of course economy. We've built on economy so well, because that's what will take away the hunger that everybody's complaining about. Now, politics, remember, campaign just started, and these people will be coming out to say so many things. And you said something very vital. The politicians, their decision, all right, have so many ways of affecting the economy. Correct. Now, we're moving into 2027. What would you have to say to the Nigerians, the electorates, all right, who are complaining of hunger, unemployment, the lack of social amenities and all of that? In fact, some will even tell you of constitutional abuse. Some will tell you, well, the judiciary has been bought over. Of course, they build houses for them, they increase their salary, their pay, and all of that. We're thinking around that direction. Now, what do you think Nigerians should do in their wisdom as these people come talk to them? There is something I wanted to say, but I won't say it.
They should say in their wisdom. Because it's quite subjective.
Yes.
So the fact remains that as a Nigerian, we must be conscious and we must have learned our lessons in this democracy, especially this era. That simply means that yes, the current president may have good intention. I want to believe every president have good intention. But the fact remains that is it what actually resonates with us? Are we actually ready for those trade-off? Must it be now, or can it be done in a gradual way? So I've observed some elections, and I've seen the voting pattern. So most Nigerians vote by ethnicity, vote by religion, and vote by emotion. About what actually happened presently. That's what they vote with. If we all vote on the basis of our economy, our pocket, that would have been so beautiful. Because after you collect the battery sum of 50,000 naira, I think that's how they can pay for now. So according to Oshun, is the standard. So the standard cannot even give you a bag of rice. And you want to move forward. And that's most of us will not see more money, no. We don't see who say more salary, no. Increase the purchasing power of Nigerians by making sure that things comes actually down. Because it's better if you have 1 million naira and you go to market, you cannot buy anything. You know whether you have 200,000 naira and go to market and buy that's how an economist thinks. It's not about the money, it's about the value of it. So people should start looking at the value people are bringing to the table. We need more productivity in Nigeria, we need more production, we need more industry. These are the things that actually. So if you are voting a councillor, a local government chairman, a state government president, your direction should be how will you better my life, not only your life, your children. Because if you think yes, I'm fine, your children are still there, you have to cater to their needs going forward. So I think Nigerian regulation should start changing about who can actually give us a good economic life. Look at what happened in your show. Even though it's being eroded, I love it by the statement of the governor. Where yes, it is free and fair, everything goes well. In fact, party that does not have any structure, ab initio, actually won. We are all happy. Until I said, I want to give all this appreciation to the president. I was we are all thinking, does it mean that you spoke with the president allegedly and he said, you guys, 17 governors that go to Osun Street and the Senate president, everybody, let him go. So that's the thing we started thinking about. So we want a real election that will reflect, the yearnings of Nigeria. So I think Nigerians should vote who is going to better their economy. I think that's the right language.
Do you think Nigerians are now becoming aware when it comes to voting leaders in the right position, and they understand the power of their permanent voters card?
The answer is yes.
Okay.
I must tell you, Nigeria have come of age. We are all being exposed to politics. 2007 was it like this? 2015 was not. So we are now being educated. It's not correct. As somebody say, I don't know about, I'm not interested in politics. So with the way our economy is now, everybody is now interested in what? In politics. So that we are not aware is not correct. We are fully aware, but we could have our shenanigans and say, even though Nigeria is difficult, let me still vote my tribesman. Let me still go through my religion man. But that we are not aware is not correct. We can use our shenanigans and say, I'm not going to vote him, even though I know he's a good man. Let me follow my tribe man. And that's what we must move away from. We must move away from it. That's where we can. Because if you continue to say this person is from my tribe, is this is that, and is not performing well, it becomes a problem. So someone could come from different tribe and actually did all of us well. So that's where we must actually be able to separate religion, ethnicity, and go for credibility and credible candidate that can give us what we want.
Well, but what played out in Osun State, we saw that the turnout from the Osun people, knowing what they wanted, they cast out their votes. In looking at 2027 election, do you think it will have the same outcome? Do you think it's a reflection of what happened in Osun will definitely happen during the 2027 election? There's not going to be anything like voter apathy. Individuals are going to come out. They won't say, it's their votes. Let them go ahead and vote. My vote does not count, or the next door neighbor does not count. What do you perceive, or what do you see in 2027?
Historically, Osun has taken lead. Average voter turnout in Nigeria is 27%. But Osun ab initio has been 42%. This one is 42. It was 40%. Osun is the state that always come out to vote. Remember during Jonathan Ribadu. Ribadu got Osun. And remember the other last one, Osun also came out very well. So I think it's their pattern. They are politically savvy. They always come out, and we want Nigeria to take a cue from that, because it also reflects people's understanding of politics and why they should actually comes out to vote. Osun has been taking, it's about 42% turnout compared to Nigeria average of 27%.
And the leadership has a little. Do you think it has something to do with it also?
Well, the fact is that
choice.
Yes, I think leadership counts, because Osun believe that every leader in every ward, every local government have impact on them when they understand the politics of voting itself and actually vote. Because during listen to the song, maybe you did not hear you understand Yoruba. They said, Otiwobo, 20,000, Otiwobo, 50,000, Otiwobo. That means upon that we collect money.
We didn't vote. Money has entered voice.
Thank you. That's where Nigeria should get to. Right. Even though you give me money, I will still follow my conscience.
Exactly.
And that's wisdom. I love it. When I heard this song, I was just like, you collect from here, you collect from here.
Yes, now.
I now go through.
It's your money. So our money.
Yes, that came and said, collect the money.
Collect the money, but vote your conscience. That's it now. So Nigerians are becoming more informed. But then transparency and accountability, does it have any way of improving our economy?
When you say transparency, I think it's relative. So what is transparent to you may not be transparent to me, even though the God doesn't give room for I don't know. So, and the way they actually do it, everything gets sophisticated day by day.
Yes,
the way people collect those things are not like before. So even the person giving the money will not be here, maybe somewhere abroad.
Let's talk about the electoral body aspect now. Independent National Electoral Committee. What's your take on Josh Amopito? Has he proven himself?
I think Josh is scoring now. He's scoring good.
He's scoring good.
So
all right, everyone. We don't know what's going to happen next, but then let's just be hopeful that what happened in Osun will continue. Thank you very much, Dr. Ali.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone. This is the size of the second conversation. Let's take a quick break. After this break, Global Morning will be rounding off. Stay with us.
Right, everyone, we're cracking behind the scene when our guest talked about what happened in Osun, where people were collecting money and, of course, voted for their conscience. We had a guest on this program who said, collect whatever they are giving to you, all right, because it's your money that they hid, they stashed. My MD will call it stashed. They stashed somewhere and they are releasing now. So collect it and vote your conscience.
Very important.
The campaign has started today. They are coming out to say so many things, so many things. I wish during campaign there will be time for question and answer. But they just come and talk and go. I think we should do that.
I think the pattern should change.
The pattern should change.
I think the media aspect, media should be there. And when you're in your campaign, you can actually interject and say, sir, there's some questions that you can ask.
You can ask.
Yes. How long would this take for you to better the lives of Nigerians when it comes to area of employment, when it comes to area of education, health sector, transportation, and all of that encompassed? We should ask questions. I think we should change the narrative.
Do you know where my mind is going to?
Where's your mind?
Local government, House of Rep, face to face. With the electorate, with the people in your senatorial district, and they should ask questions. Because some will just do covert and tell you, well, it is hard this, it is that. So I think apart from the debate that happened for presidential candidates, there should also be a platform for town hall meetings.
Very important.
All right, where you come, you answer questions, the people ask you questions. It will put you on your toes. I think there should be a provision to let the people know that you can call back, okay, you can recall your House of Rep members, the National Assembly members and all, so that when you are saying anything during campaign, it should be issue-based, and people should look at your antecedents. Someone has said something, they said, if our politicians are doing the right thing, they don't even need campaign.
No,
they want to return. It's automatic.
Look at what happened in Osun. It's a clear example. It's a clear example.
Workers were even on the street.
Well, on the street because and that's the thing. That's the thing. Do not. When I say to individuals who are in public offices, do not forget to do the needful from day one. It's not when it comes to election time that you think you want to quickly build roads, fix schools and all that. You should let the people love you from day one. Governor Ademola Adeleke is loved from day one. He's a people's person. He speaks to the people one-on-one. He gives back to the people one-on-one. So that was why even when he changed party, come on. It's a new party. And then the next thing you know, he has won again. Because it wasn't just him. It's his works that spoke for him. And the people love him because he has transformed and touched lives. I said, Nigerians, we don't ask for too much. We don't. Just give us the needful. And we know that you're performing. It's fine. Do you think that, I'm not saying, do you think he hasn't made enough money on that? Of course he has. But it's a win-win situation. Give and take. No one will ask. Just perform.
Nigerians are not asking for too much.
I always say it. We're not asking for it. It's just the basics and we are good.
Not at all. Well, Nigerians are not asking for
no, we're not.
We're asking for just something that is our right as a people. All right, everyone. Campaign has started. Be ready to ask questions. Those of you who stone people who come to do campaign, please, this time, don't throw stones, ask questions. All right? Because I heard that some people were throwing stones at a political officer that went to do campaign in one part of the north somewhere. I'm not calling it that.
Please don't.
But then I don't want to call names, but Benue State, make sure you ask questions when they come campaign.
Very important.
Youths, you need to use your head and your wisdom this time of campaign going into the 2027 election. All right, everyone, this is the size of the conversation today for you on Global Morning. We would like to tell you that Global Television does not have editorial contribution to the national dailies. And the view of our guest is entirely theirs and not that of Global Television. Many thanks for joining us on Global Morning today. My name is Ramsey Enoch.
And I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Remember, your vote is your power. Have an amazing day.